Hi everyone, Joel and Andy at Codebreak on the Stay Hungry podcast. Today we're going to be talking about common mistakes businesses make with their marketing. Hi Andy, how you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you. You well?
I think so.
It's weird saying that to you. You what?
It's a miserable day.
Yeah, we get out early for our bike rides, get that done, just in case. You never know what, because it was lovely this morning. Well, it was all right, to be honest. But then, yeah, it's really shitty. And this is when, I suppose, SADS always kicks in. My wife seems to get it, like, come like February approaching. It's just like, people have had enough now, want the summer here. But then my friend in Perth is complaining that it's just too hot. So it's 45 degrees over there. So
that is too much. That is too much.
So
I knew it's bad today because when I took the dog for a walk, he wanted to come home. So
we used to have that with our lurcher. Yeah, obviously not much insulation on a lurcher, and she didn't like going out. And then so we bought her a proper insulated coat, and then she didn't like wearing that either because she realised she looked like a total prat.
Yeah,
can't win. So what do we talk about today then?
So today we're talking about the mistakes we see businesses make with their marketing.
Right. Okay.
I guess what we mean by that is where they're just clearly wasting their money, essentially, or doing things badly, thinking they're doing them well, and actually they could be achieving a lot more.
Sounds good to me. I think, a lot of people, well, goodness me, a lot of people wasting money out there. But controversially, I could say that there are also people out there who aren't spending any money on their marketing, which is a problem in itself. They're literally not doing anything proactively. They're certainly not paying. They almost think that paying for marketing is a sacrilege, because their great uncle who opened a barbershop in 1892, he never paid for advertising in his life, and he had a very successful barbershop, even though he had to work 7 days a week till he was 80 and then keeled over mid haircut. So I'd say that's a biggie as well.
Oh, hugely. I mean, I'd say the worst mistake in marketing is to have none, because generally the reason people don't have any there'll be two reasons why someone doesn't have any marketing. One, they don't think they can afford it, so they just don't do any, and that might be even the stuff that's free, because they don't understand that it's free, or that they're kind of making hay whilst the sun shines and therefore don't think they need marketing, and then they're surprised when it drops off a cliff.
So would you say that situation is more prevalent now, or so are people thinking that, right, all I have to do is post a few times on Facebook and it doesn't cost me anything, that's for marketing? So do you think it is more widespread, or do you think that online has given them access to so much information that you'd have to be, to be honest, pretty thick to not realise that you do need to market your business?
I think it's become sort of a frustration for smart business owners that there's all these platforms and all these places and all this material, like you say, available online, and they can't quite see what they should be doing or what combination of things they should be doing. And that kind of fog can paralyze a business where, essentially you've run a successful business, you've grown it to a certain point, maybe for whatever reason it started to plateau, and you don't really know what the best things to do to move it forward are. And then you have that problem where people dabble a bit with social media, or they dabble a bit with advertising, or they sponsor an event as a one-off thing and don't really do much around it. And actually the impact is kind of negligible because there's no cohesive thinking.
Yeah, we do. Well, we see that a lot, don't we? It's that having some kind of strategy, right? Oh, I'll post on Facebook. Oh, right. Yes, I've had a phone call about some last minute space in the newspaper. Or there's this event that's going on, and Bob down the road said I'd be mad if I didn't sponsor it. And because it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? The access to online information and the fact that everyone is now an expert. Yeah. And I think that is because, hopefully by nature, most of us are very nice people. We almost think it's rude to not listen to someone who's giving us advice. And we've seen time and time again, maybe well-meaning people give advice where it's like, no, you're not qualified to give that advice. So you've got a business owner that needs help, and they're listening to the wrong people because they're listening to everyone, and everyone is not an expert. And we joke about everyone being an expert with other people's children when their own children, like, literally running around the house pulling the dog's tail like the spawn of Satan, but they're giving you advice about your own children. and with businesses, everyone is always an expert with other people's money.
Absolutely. And if you've got, let's say you've got a £500,000 business, a £1 million business, so you've done well till now, and you want to take it to the next level. So you want to take that £1 million business to £2 million business. The people you should be listening to about that are people that have either grown a business to do that before or are doing it right now.
Yes, it's absolutely. It's almost like with a networking group. If you were going to join a networking group, a good rule of thumb that we impress upon our guys is that you want to be the weakest, least successful person in the room.
Yeah.
And if you are like the most knowledgeable, the most experienced, strongest guy or lady in the room, great for everyone else because they can learn off you, pick your brains, but you won't get anything apart from maybe a bit of nice sort of ego massage. It's like in a couple of the mentorship groups that we're members of, we go into them, we want to be at the bottom of the ladder. We want the other guys and ladies to pull us up. And that's something also for, I'm reading actually a chapter in a book called The Fear Bubble at the moment, and it's all about ego versus pride, and saying pride in like, I don't know, job satisfaction or whatever, or wanting a career, and pride in your own work and work ethic is good, but ego is a totally different thing when you're almost doing it for other people to flatter you.
Yeah, it's a bit like the chimp paradox. Have you read that?
No, Emma's and my wife's read that. Stephen Peters or something, or
Professor Steve.
Is there loads of athletes have read that or work with him?
Well, he was the sports psychologist for the Team GB. So he's also Ronnie O'Sullivan's sports psychologist, I think.
Oh, is he?
And it's around the kind of the chimp in your mind or the ego, and how most people live to feed that, whether rightly or wrongly. I mean, there's plenty of things you can do that make you feel good, that are nice things to do, much like attending a network group and helping out or giving to charity. But there comes a point where if you're utilizing all your time to do those things to feed your chimp or ego, you're not going to develop your business or yourself or your athletic ability or whatever it might be.
Yeah, going deep today.
Yeah, I actually do read.
Not a deep dive. Not a deep dive, though. I want to be clear about that. We're going deep, which is different.
We're going all in.
Go all in. All in. Right. So so obviously not doing any marketing, or doing ad hoc marketing, and sometimes listening to the wrong people. I think ad hoc marketing, no real kind of sort of strategy, can often mean vomiting all over social media. That's something we see a lot of business owners do, who think that quantity is more important than quality. And it's like, I'll open up a business and set up a Facebook page, and I'll just post loads of stuff about my special offers, and people will magically buy off me.
Yeah, it's that whole throw as much shit at the wall and see what sticks type approach. And you can understand why businesses do it, because they don't know what's going to work because they've never done it before. But that's where they should speak to somebody who has, and that might not necessarily, it's easy for me to say I'll speak to a marketing agency, speak to a marketing expert, but literally speak to businesses similar to yours and see how they've done it or how they're doing it. And like you say, attend networking where you're surrounded by people who've kind of been there and done it. Yeah.
I mean, the ironic thing I find is that, say it's free to obviously post on Facebook, is that some of the free stuff that's actually really, really worthwhile doing. So, for example, having a Google My Business listing.
Yeah.
That they don't do that stuff, and probably because they don't know about it. But I do often think, I do wonder sometimes that there are people out there who because something is free, they don't associate a value to it, or it gets put into the must do tomorrow pile. And accordingly, I've been trading for 3 years and still haven't got a Google My Business listing, which is one of the best free things you can do to optimize traffic to your website.
So I've got a theory about this.
Go on. Light theories.
So, we've just been talking about ego.
Mm.
I think there's a lot of business owners out there, if they were truly honest with themselves, most of their social media posts aren't to further their business. They're to tell their network how much they've achieved already.
Yeah, I like that.
I can think of a few people on my LinkedIn that tend to post what they're up to or what they've been up to, or post a video that's kind of less about top tips and more about lifestyle, let's say.
Okay.
And actually, it's not really a positioning piece. It's just kind of a shallow boast. And
Maybe
I understand why you'd want to do it. I mean, I think all of us get that feeling where you want to kind of look what we did. But is that the best use of social media? And certainly that isn't social media to market your business.
And maybe it also makes them think they're doing something productive. Like, oh, I had a really, really busy, productive day today. I got loads of Facebook posts done or scheduled and loads of tweets scheduled. And it's like, right, okay, so what's in place to test and measure that? But unfortunately, they probably don't realize that not most, but a lot of social media, especially without the right content strategy, is a waste of time unless you're running social media ads. And that is a massive, probably the biggest mistake that we talk about is that if you're not, as we're always saying, if you're not paying because you can't or you won't, if you're not paying to acquire a new customer, you haven't got a sustainable and scalable business. And if you're spending your time researching and posting content on, say, Facebook, and you're doing loads of posts, but you're not running Facebook ads, you really are ice skating uphill. And some businesses just purely don't know that, like I've said, but others do know that, but they just point blank refuse to go, well, that's ridiculous. And I go, well, do you know that the organic reach of a Facebook page is like 4%? And if you're doing 4%, you're doing well. So it doesn't matter that you've got like 100 followers. When you post something, literally 3 or 4 people will see what you're posting.
Yeah.
And I'd say most business owners I tell that fact to are surprised. They didn't realize. They thought it'd be more, or in some cases they're like, well, don't all 100 people see it? And you have to use an analogy of your friends on Facebook, that the friend who posts but you never see it because it's so far down in your timeline, because Facebook knows you don't really interact with that friend.
Yeah, it's a bit like when your mum rings you up and says, didn't you see my photo on Facebook? And you have to explain, no, I didn't see your photo on Facebook because I don't tend to interact with your stuff, because usually it doesn't catch my interest. Get myself in trouble here.
Well, my mum's on this Facebook for years. To my knowledge, she hasn't posted once on Facebook. She just used it to look at other people's stuff.
Wow.
And so whenever someone wants to follow Codebreak on Instagram, now we haven't set our accounts as private, but they'll come and follow us. And you think, okay, do I follow them back? But there's more and more people now that you'll see, they're literally, the number underneath the number of posts they've done is 0. They haven't posted once. They're just following other and looking at other people's accounts. So it's like, well, no, I'm not going to follow you back then.
Yeah, it's mad. So I know you know the answer to this, but what's the second worst mistake?
Don't pressure me now. I might not.
Well, I hope
so what we said. So not doing any marketing, doing only ad hoc marketing. Quick, Joel, I've got a sale on tomorrow. Here's a £5. Do a Facebook ad for me. So doing only ad hoc marketing. If you're in business for the long haul, you can't apply a short haul strategy. But the biggie for me, which I see the most, is the worst number in marketing is 1, which is my favourite phrase.
Yeah. Well,
see it all the time. Like, you just use that line I just threw at you now. Right, you got a big sale going. You're going to run a Facebook ad for £5 for one day. Are you under the illusion that is literally going to make things fly off your shelves? I wish it was that easy. And sometimes, obviously, I remember running a Facebook ad campaign on a Black Friday for one of our Spa clients, and I think the spend was £50. Yeah. they turned over 5 figures. through in Black Friday sales in one day. So it can work instantaneously, but generally speaking, the more advanced notice you have, the better something will work for you. Which, you know, is another mistake in itself, that the whole planning ahead. What was it, the phrase you like saying about if you plan to fail or fail to plan?
Fail to plan, plan to fail, yeah.
Is that like some Greek philosopher or something, or was that like Steve Jobs?
I better check now before I make a fool of myself. So
I like that. But yeah, the worst number marketing is one, which is to my recollection pretty much the first thing I was taught when I started off back in the day in ITV in '96. Is that you just don't run one ad for one night, or very rare. Maybe if England were playing Brazil in the World Cup final, you can get away with like paying to run one 30-second ad.
Like the Super Bowl ads or something like
that. Yeah, exactly, which will go for like millions of dollars. But generally speaking, it's you know, I suppose at a SME level, I'm thinking, you know, one ad for one night in the paper, just because the paper calls you up and says, oh, we've got a free slot on the telly page, come on, it's just £100. It's like, well, again, don't be disappointed if the phone doesn't ring off the hook that night. It's going into a monthly magazine for 1 month. You're better off, like, rather than take a full page for 1 month, take a quarter page or credit card type page for a number of months. But then often, I think sometimes when you have that self-enforced pressure on yourself, right? I'm doing one ad in the paper for one night and it's £200 when it usually should be £500. Now, if £200 in your business is a lot of money, you need to make sure that ad is spot on, because to be honest, 75% of the time, if an ad in the paper or an ad generally doesn't work, it's because the design's rubbish. You haven't got the ad design nailed properly. The copy's bad. The call to action isn't clear. There's no incentive. It looks so much like all your competitors' ads. You don't stand out enough. I mean, there's a whole host of things that, you know, and this is why some of the audits we do on existing advertising for new clients can throw some scary stuff about, stuff they just won't have realised.
Hugely. I mean, something that I try and sort of coach into our clients, and certainly our consultancy clients, is about looking at your marketing pillars throughout the year. So what have you got happening in the year? Is it a sale? Is it an event? Is it a charity fundraiser? Is it, well, it could be numerous things, could be a business milestone, whatever it might be. And you can plan your campaigns around those milestones. And then, you know, I've had pushback on that where business owners said, yeah, but what if the paper does ring me up with a great deal? Or what if, you know, there's a global pandemic and the price of digital advertising drops through the floor? Well, you set aside amounts of money for those different campaigns so that you can capitalize on the opportunities happening around those campaigns. And so few businesses actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, because we're all in love with our businesses, I think sometimes we can, this is where ego comes into it a bit again. You're like, I'm so good at what I do. When someone comes to my website, why wouldn't they get in touch? Or when somebody sees my one ad in the paper, why don't they pick up the phone?
Yeah.
And there's that lack of appreciation that people are busy, whether they are or not. They think they are, and that's the only thing that matters. They think they're busy. They think they're super important. You can't get in front of them once, and especially now, you know, it's easier to get in front of people because most people are at home as we're recording this during lockdown.
Yeah.
But accordingly, they're also probably homeschooling their kids, or they're having 50 deliveries from Amazon coming to their day. So there's always stuff going on. So see your ad once, oh, lovely, oh, great, Joel, that looks good, oh, we should buy that. And then, oh, doorbell goes, and they've gone off the boil. And if you're not staying in touch with that person, which is easy to do if you've got the right systems and process in place, you are losing money every single day, which, you know, obviously you're the retargeting expert. Email's another way of doing it, capturing people's data in return for maybe an offer or a lead magnet, some info fact sheet, and you can stay in touch with them via an email funnel. But again, it comes back to the worst number in marketing is one. So people come and eat at your restaurant, they've had a lovely meal, wonderful, right, okay, what are you doing to make sure they tell all their friends about you? And how are you going to stay in touch with those people? And I'd say most restaurants don't.
I was going to say independent restaurants definitely fall into a category here where there's very few that market themselves successfully. They because I guess that industry does strongly rely on word of mouth and reputation. Can you believe that is the front door? You keep talking.
There's an Amazon delivery. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, we love working with restaurants. Obviously, restaurants are one of the hardest hits by Corona at the moment. But there's some great restaurants out there doing great things. But chances are there's no kind of exchange of information. You pay your bill and you go. Where, say, for example, I remember we worked with this one restaurant, and they were so good at what they do, but not enough people knew they were good at what they do. So we introduced review cards, got them all designed, and they started coming in, these reviews, but it's like not as fast as we wanted. So anyway, even though we'd coached the waiters and waitresses, it turned out that even though they knew what to say, the line to customers, which was literally something like, as a new independent restaurant, you'd really be helping us if you spend just 1 minute to give us a review. That would really help us, to almost put that kind of pressure on the customer. But what they weren't doing was giving a pen with it. So what was happening, these customers were being left with the review cards, and then it's like, oh, Bob, have you got a pen? Oh no, it's in my handbag somewhere, let me have a look at and they just didn't get around to doing it. So it really is looking at these tiny little things in the process, and sometimes the final link in the chain to getting someone to do what you want them to do. And I remember a restaurant I went to ages ago, they gave me a review card with a pen, filled it in, and they also asked for my birthday. Yeah, I don't mind giving that away. And even now, years later, I'll always get some kind of communication a week before my birthday with some kind of offer saying, come and have your birthday meal with us. As long as there's 4 people, we'll give you a free bottle of bubbles. And just those nice little touch points that probably most of your competitors don't do. So if you can be the one restaurant that does encourage reviews, if you can be the one restaurant that then takes those email addresses and puts them into some kind of legally compliant mass email system like MailChimp, Sendinblue, whatever, and stay in touch with those people, your chances of getting repeat business and encouraging word of mouth, encouraging them to refer you to their friends, it just goes up exponentially. And that's a massive one. And I realise I'm just really talking here now because Joel might still be at the door. Are you there, Joel?
I've been back for ages.
You just let me talk.
I listen to the Tim Lovejoy podcast a lot, and his doorbell always goes. It's the issue with recording at home during lockdown.
What was the package?
No idea. It's not for me, obviously.
No, is it always for Hannah, is it?
Pretty much.
Oh, that's not on. Well, I got Introducing the Hardline according to Terence Trent D'Arby on vinyl yesterday. That was my delivery yesterday.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was good. We were watching some Top of the Pops 1987 throwback episode, and there was a big segment on TTD, and I was like, oh my god, well, that's the first ever CD I bought, Introducing the Hardline, but God knows where that went all those decades ago. So yeah, ordered it on vinyl, got on eBay brand new for like 12 quid or something ridiculous, and yeah, awesome. Been listening to that, so that was a nice thing to get in the post yesterday rather than a bill. Oh, direct mail. There we go. That's another podcast we could do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So
no one dies direct mail.
You've told everyone our restaurant story about the review cards. Where are we at now?
Yes. So review cards, which some kind of incentive to get people, to get a review. And obviously there are different ways to encourage reviews, and there are different kind of reviews because maybe we could do a whole podcast on the I should bloody hope so test, which is the test we have to judge whether a review will actually do any good or not. Because if someone says, I like Codebreak, they were really friendly and professional, well, I should bloody hope so. That review probably ain't going to do much for you. You want a review to actually sell your business for you. But yeah, that's a whole other podcast probably, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The I should bloody hope so test. Yeah, I remember the day we learnt that. Ugh. So
if only we'd known that before. So got on to getting people's email address, and then they're in some kind of funnel or automated system to receive sort of non-spammy informative emails from you. Obviously, with the odd cheeky sell now and then, but then also retargeting. To be honest, if you know what you're doing, it's a lot less faff, and especially if you're selling stuff online, people look at your product online. Wow, that's brilliant, but they ain't going to buy, or chances are they ain't going to buy there and then. So what are you doing to make sure you can do a bit of friendly stalking?
Yeah, it's getting into that habit of continuously serving your brand or your proposition to your audience. And when you actually get into it, not a huge amount of businesses do it.
And I think there are two reasons for that, got to be honest. One is, like, as we've touched on quite a lot, they just don't even know it exists. Even though they probably get exposed to it themselves every day, they don't understand or realize that's what's going on. But the second one is fear.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of what's stopping people becoming a marketing machine. They fear that, oh, I don't want to send too many emails, or better not, try and upsell him. I should just be grateful for the money he's given me. And that's a hard thing to get, because I do understand that, and because we know some business owners who literally, they'll say, I don't want to email my database more than once a month, and we have to be bluntly honest with them, don't we?
Oh, definitely. I mean,
or we get one of the other guys to tell them.
I had a funny conversation with somebody the other day, actually, who we've currently got a proposal with, and he said to me, I see your face everywhere. I said, oh yeah. Yeah, the other night I was trying to order some nuts and bolts on eBay and your face popped up. and I sort of chuckled, and he said, it was annoying at first, but then I realised how clever it was. And well, that's a backhanded compliment. But
remember, we had that one person. I can't remember if we'd started qualifying her as a client or not. But basically, it came down to the point that she thought our marketing was too aggressive because she was seeing us everywhere.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, okay, well, our work is done. We don't want to have that conversation with you. It won't work.
Yeah, and I think what she didn't sort of factor in is that a big part of our values and kind of our philosophy is that we try to provide a lot of value. So you can listen to our podcasts, you can read our blog, you can see our tips. We've got Marketing Monday emails, so all this free content talking about marketing and giving people
printed newsletter. My goodness, I mean, costs us quite a bit to get that out, and we send that out free of charge in the UK, don't we?
Yeah, so
we're nice people, Joel.
Sometimes, but I don't think she weighed up the value proposition. So she was just thinking of it as, oh, they're just trying to sell me. And it's, well, actually, no. Our company values aren't. We don't really go for the sell. We want to help your business, and if that means we can work together, brilliant. But if not, feel free to listen to our podcast, read our blogs, use our advice. That's fine. And it's quite a new school way of thinking, and some old school businesses can't get their heads around it.
I mean, it's a massive point. Is that, yeah, if I don't know, you're offering some kind of discount or whatever in return for someone's email address off their first purchase, and then they're in your funnel, and if every email you send out is a hard sell and it's going out once, twice a day, but we're not advocating that. Like you said, it's about giving value. Now, again, drop in the cheeky sell, as I mentioned, but it's about informing people. And if someone's going to unsubscribe when you send an email out explaining about how you're trying to save the planet or help a kid's charity, whatever it might be, that person was an arse. Well, okay, they might not have been an arse, but they certainly weren't going to buy off you. And don't worry about it. When people unsubscribe, unless you're spamming them, they're doing you a favor because they're cleaning your database. And that's quite a tricky conversation to have, because we've, like any business, we've got clients who are so lovely and don't want to offend anyone. There's a real danger that their marketing approach can become vanilla-like and quite bland. And bland, you just can't afford in this day and age. It's so competitive and cutthroat. You can't afford to be bland and nicely bland.
We've fallen into that trap, and we know lots of businesses that have too, where their overarching kind of drive is to help people. It isn't to grow their business. And the problem you have then is, because you really want to help people, you kind of want to help everyone. And marketing and wanting to help everyone don't go hand in hand unless you're the Red Cross or something.
And appealing to everyone. I mean, how many businesses try and do that?
Yeah.
Rob Moore says, if you're trying to appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one. And
so it's kind of having that conversation with yourself as a business. Who am I best equipped to help? So if you fall into that kind of mindset of, I like helping people, which you and I both fall into that, what people can we help the most? Where can I have the most impact? Where can I be most effective? And then your marketing, your business strategy, your finances all feed into that vision.
Yeah, because I think a lot of business owners out there, they're like, well, to be honest, anyone with a pulse in the checkbook. And, I sort of understand that. And there are some businesses out there that really can sell or do want to sell to anyone and everyone. But if you're, I don't know, I suppose an example we often use is a car dealership. So who do you want to sell cars to? Well, anyone over the age of 17 with a driving license. And I sort of understand that because I want to know, you sell a certain make of car, right? Who is your key target audience? Is it going to be a married couple in their early 30s, maybe one or two kids? There will be a customer avatar, the ideal customer audience, and that is who you focus your marketing on, and veer to the left and right, but always come back to that central spine, because if you are tailoring your marketing to appeal to everyone, you will just, as Bruce Lee said, miss out on all the heavenly glory. Like a bit of Eastern philosophy, me, Joel.
Yeah.
And a bit of fighting, a bit of kung fu.
Yeah, fair enough.
God, I bet if I watched Enter the Dragon now, it would seem like really, really old. And I don't know, would it be timeless? Seeing people like John Saxon sort of trying. MMA's changed all that, I think, hasn't it?
Made it more accessible, you mean?
Well, just kung fu, do people like sort of look down that a bit now with the reality of MMA? Although in the beginning of I almost said Empire Strikes Back, the beginning of Enter the Dragon, he does win his first fight on it via armbar. So there is grappling in that, not just striking.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't know where you're going with this.
No, enough Eastern philosophy.
So I don't really know how to segue into the next bit, but talk to me about steak and sizzle, and I might be able to.
Oh, steak and sizzle and tofu and sizzle, really, for me.
Okay.
Had some tofu the other day. It wasn't that good. Yeah, it's an old thing, isn't it? It's about, I used to say sausage, I think. You don't sell the sausage, you sell the sizzle. Yes. You don't sell the hammer. You sell the hammer and the nail, you sell the hole in the wall. Oh, actually, let's take it a step further. You don't sell the hole in the wall. You sell the picture that you're then going to hang on the nail in the wall, and you can obviously break it down to the nth degree. But I'd say a lot of business owners, the stake is a lot of people, they focus on the features of their business, sort of what they do.
They give the product away, as in within their advertising or their marketing, they give away too much about their product and not enough about the features or benefits to the user.
Exactly.
So where I was heading with that is an easy way to understand this is film trailers that give away the contents of the film.
Oh, okay.
So quite a known example, I think it's Terminator Genesis, where in the trailer you find out that John Connor's now a machine.
Oh God, Genesis. Which one's that?
The one where John Connor's a machine.
Yeah, still trying to think which one that is. Is that the one with Christian Bale?
No, after that one.
Oh God, the girl from Game of Thrones.
Daenerys,
Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains, whatever.
Yeah, I know who you mean, but is that the one she's in? Has there been two since the Christian Bale one?
Christian Bale's Salvation, isn't it? Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, so it's the one with Daenerys in and Doctor Who.
Which Doctor Who?
Matt, whatever his name is.
Oh, you're joking. Oh my God. I'm sure I've seen it, but I think clearly just once, or maybe it was back in the drinking days.
Yeah, so that's one. Terminator's got a bit of a rap with this, actually, because the Terminator 2 Judgment Day trailers also gave away that Terminator was the good guy.
Oh, okay. You are going back now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another example. And Thor Ragnarok, so a more recent one, gave away that the Hulk was in it in the trailer.
Okay.
And it's that whole kind of, you're neglecting to realise what result your audience or customer wants, and instead just throwing everything at them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can almost understand why there's that need for as much information as possible, that accessibility, the how easily distracted and bored people are. There is this, and it harks back to what we said at the beginning of this podcast about the people who vomit all over Facebook. There's that temptation, just like, give everything. They talk about everything, but there's that real danger that you don't just talk about everything. You talk about the features rather than the benefits, and there's no pain stacking, and you can break it down to the nth degree. But there's so much bad advertising out there still now, where people just rattle off what they do. We're a gym. We've been established since 1850. We've got 50 treadmills. We got this. No one cares. It's you got to sell it to me. And this is something it's weird that the things we talk about are not rocket science. They're not new. The platforms might be new, but the messages haven't changed at all. For thousands of years, selling is the same. It's like, right, what someone's pain or problem, identify it. Sometimes you have to make them realize they've got a pain they might not have even realized, and then present the solution for that pain, probably with some kind of incentive to buy it now rather than go away and think about it, because we all know what think about it is.
A slow no.
We spend too much time together.
Yeah.
Even in lockdown.
It's so true. If you think about, kind of old school TV where you've got maybe a market salesperson or somebody that works in a corner shop, those techniques they're using of, go on then, I'll throw you an extra apple, or try have these apples because they're juicier than last week's, is all those little techniques that amount to a lot. The compound effect of employing kind of a benefit-led approach to your marketing is significant.
Absolutely. And actually with that impetus of offers, and I know offers sometimes has a bad rep. So I mean being creative, being clever, not just necessarily taking money off your bottom line, but some kind of reason to buy. Like for like we've already mentioned that some ads in papers especially, the call to action isn't even clear. What do you want people to do? And it's the same with an offer, like what's in it for me? And oh my God, I've only got 3 days to use it. Blimey, I better get on the phone, rather than running an offer that's got no expiry date, or the expiry date so far in the future. But like I say, this is just old school stuff. Even when Emma got it into her head that, what we needed in our zoo was like a giant cat. Emma finds this mad old woman in the middle of nowhere who breeds these Maine Coon cats. And we were going to get one, and it was called Barnaby, and lovely. And even this old woman who was probably 100 or something, who literally slept on the floor so her cats could have the bed and the sofa and everything. She's like, oh, Barnaby's brother. Oh, if you wanted him as well, you see, I'd sell him probably for half price. So you've got everyone knows about deals, and that's why we've got Barnaby and Casper now, because, well, there we go. We went for it, or rather, I didn't get a choice. Emma just went ahead and did it. But offers, discounts, deals. When, like you often say, you walk into a Ferrari showroom, you'll get a deal if you ask for one. It's not a slight against your product or service, no matter how high value you are. People need a reason to buy.
Biggest sale day at Harrods every year is Christmas Eve. Second biggest sale day at Harrods every year is Boxing Day sales.
Brilliant. Yeah, you got to cut through the noise. A lot of noise out there. There's never been a better time to sell loads of stuff, because, as we're always saying, even at the moment, the money's still out there. It's just moving around the economy a lot slower, but there are still people who are, using furlough money, or are in industries that are really capitalizing, for want of a better word, on the situation and making money hand over fist. So there is opportunity out there. Very hard for some industries, obviously, appreciate that. But benefits-led copy with paid-for ads, so you're actually paying to target the right people rather than the scattergun approach you mentioned earlier that, organic content can only do, with some kind of clear impetus and reason to buy. It's marketing 101, but the majority of business owners, I guess, don't get around to doing it because they're so busy doing everything else, which to me is maybe one of the biggest marketing mistakes. It's almost a business mistake. They're not letting go of the stuff they need to let go of, which we could talk about for.
And not having time in your diary to promote your business. That's because, you're so busy doing what you consider as the work, you're forgetting that the work will dry up unless you promote the business.
Yeah, it's like the E-Myth, isn't it? It's, I read that book probably every year, and it's pretty. If you're a baker and you're fed up working for someone else, you set up your own bakery, and you're still there 6 days a week baking the bread. Well, okay, are you a business owner or are you a technician? Because if you're a baker and you just want to carry on baking bread, save yourself all the hassle of being a business owner. Just find a nicer baker to work for.
Yeah, if your passion is baking, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard, the entrepreneur myth. Yeah, if you're there micromanaging every aspect of your business, and I've got to do the marketing, I've got to do it, I haven't got time today, I'll get on it tomorrow. I can tell you where your business is heading. It's like trying to do the books yourself, the hiring yourself, the firing yourself, the sales, the marketing, the customer service, everything. And I appreciate, well, me and you, God, we totally appreciate it is hard to let go. But there are people out there who could probably do certain aspects of your job better than you. So bloody hell, pay them, either outsource it or employ. But the choices now to do that are hugely, much more prevalent than when me and you started out in business.
Oh, excuse me, I just sneezed. This podcast's got everything.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought you were hiding a burp.
No, it's just sneeze.
Oh, that's all right
then. So how do you avoid making these common mistakes, Andy?
Oh, well, speak to an expert. So, for us, how we look at it and how we've always looked at it, marketing is a profession. No, you don't, strictly speaking, need a qualification to run a marketing business, which is a problem in itself, because the world and his wife are marketing gurus. But you don't pay a solicitor and then tell them how to draft a contract. You don't pay an accountant and then tell them how to do the books or even get involved in it. And it's the same with your marketing professional, because if you're there having to get involved and micromanage, then you've chosen the wrong marketing agency, or there's no one out there who can help you. You literally do know it all, and just try and do it yourself. But yeah, to speak to an agency that's been there in the trenches and to get advice off them is a great start. Now, of course, you just plug in your own business, but I'm just speaking from long experience. And I think there are just two types of business out there. There are ones that they look at marketing as a cost, and there are others who look at marketing as an investment. When the recession hits, there are business owners who the first thing they chop is their marketing, and there are business owners who, right, that's the last thing I'm letting go of. And that's the way it is. And I think that's the way it will always be. And sometimes it's like, I'm not going to try and convince you if you're in the other camp. I'll never win that battle. But if you look at marketing as an investment and you're prepared to test and measure, because like any investments, could go up, could go down, but if you're smart, switched on, and taking the right advice, you'll make more sound investments than bad ones. I'm not saying every ad campaign you run is going to, return a tenfold, give you tenfold back. It doesn't work like that. But if you're prepared to be in it for the long haul, speaking to the right advisors, it could be a business coach, might not be a marketing agent, it could be a business coach who's got experience in marketing, can give you so much sound advice, because it can be a very quick way to either drain your money or drain your time, or both.
Yeah, hugely. I was going to say, the way we've both developed as business owners is to separate from the short-term thinking as well. Short-termism is really dangerous, not just for your marketing, but for your business as a whole. You need to know where you're going and how you're going to get there, and what the pillars are along the way, what are the stepping stones along the way. And the amount of people that launch a marketing campaign overnight and then decide to play with the budgets 2 days later blows my mind.
What would you say? What would you say about new businesses? Because we do see this a lot, that there are still businesses opening up, and there are people maybe being made redundant and thinking, right, okay, well, this is the kick up the arse I need to set up my own business. But they maybe don't have the budget aside.
Yeah, I think there's a common misconception that you're going to make a profit from day one.
Okay, so well, you know what I'm like with understanding finances. So explain that.
So a lot of people go into business, and because they've got a good idea, and chances are they have got a good idea, or perhaps they've got a good culture of service, or a brilliant user experience, or whatever it might be, a brilliant restaurant with amazing food. They think they're going to be profitable from the moment they open their doors or open their online shop. And what I mean by that is they think that after income has come in and costs have gone out, there'll be money left. And I know that's probably patronizing, but it's the easiest way to explain it. And the reality is, with a new business, it's going to be anything between 6 months to 3 years before you reach that break-even point, depending on what you do, because you're so heavily front-loaded and so heavily invested in the business.
Okay.
And the same goes for your marketing to an extent. If you're talking to a marketing agency and they're saying that they can transform your business overnight, they should be the most successful marketing agency in the world, because they're lying to you. That can't be true, what they're saying.
It's that irony, isn't it? That your marketing agency is always telling you need to spend money on ads, yet they don't spend money on ads to promote themselves. They rely on the word of mouth fairy as well. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Got to practice what you preach.
We're heavily invested financially and time-wise in our own marketing. This podcast now is an example of that. And if you're sat with a guru, a consultant, a marketing agency, a business coach, and they're saying to you that they can make these incredible transformations at the flick of a switch, you really need to step back and question that, because Rome wasn't built in a day. And you really need to think about, well, what's the strategy behind this? What can I do? And, every time I make this argument, someone will throw something at me that was an overnight success. But how many of those do you know? You can count them on one hand. Most businesses, they have to grind, they have to work at it, they have to plan, they have to strategize, and then they start to see things come to fruition.
It's like you mentioned the podcast there. We know quite a few business owners who have sort of, jumped on the podcast bandwagon, but they literally recorded a handful of episodes. Didn't get any business, not bothering that. I mean, it's like, for us, I suppose it's madness, because we did our podcast for, I'd say, at least 6 months with no real visible return on that time. And we could have easily given up, but no, if we go down a new marketing avenue, and this is the advice we give to our consultancy clients as well, you've got to give it a year. But after 6 months, it really snowballed and snowballed. But I think a lot of business owners would have given up before the 6 month mark.
Yeah, and 6 months isn't that long.
So what about you? I mean, you mentioned obviously the grind and the hustle. Like we know in the early days, you hustle away. It's exciting. It's new. You're passionate about your business, and the money you hustle, you get in, you ideally reinvest it back into the business, into your marketing, because you can't hustle forever, really. Or not some people can, of course, but not many people can. They'll burn themselves out.
Sure. What's the question?
Well, so here's something we get asked a lot. New businesses haven't got much money to start up.
Okay.
About getting the ball rolling, or would you say find the money from somewhere? Credit card, borrow off your mum. You need to have, or it will be easier for you in the long term to have
it'll certainly be easier
working capital to spend on your marketing.
It'll certainly be easier if you can find the money. I know what I did when I launched my first business. The local football, I think I've told this story before, but the local football team were doing a charity raffle, and I said to them, well, I'll do that, because it gave me an excuse to go into every business in the area. And then when I did, I introduced myself and gave them my business card, because I knew I hadn't got any money to market my business, so I had to invest my time and effort instead. And I met you probably 6 months after that, and you backed me up. I pretty much went to the opening of an envelope that year. So
and surprisingly, some people won't. The thought of getting up at 6 a.m. 3 times a week and going and breakfast, people God no, why would I want to do that? It's like, well, I can't help you then, mate. If you haven't got money and you're not prepared to invest that time either, then bloody hell.
Yeah,
how is your business supposed to grow?
One way or the other. And well, I guess there's 3 types of investment. There's either your time, your finance, or your mind, as in you've thought of something that nobody else has, and therefore there's you basically reinvented the wheel, and there's a deep need for it. but if very few people hit that third one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, because you say about your mind and about learning, and for us, well, you know how much we impress upon the team that they've always got to be reading or consuming podcasts, videos, whatever their preferred form of learning is.
Yeah.
But everything you need to know is available, even more so these days. And so it's almost like there's no excuse that, you know, you want to learn more about marketing, or I know you think LinkedIn could be good for you, so do your research. Don't just jump onto LinkedIn because, again, Bob, your well-meaning friend that has never run a successful business, tells you that, oh, his second cousin twice removed says LinkedIn is awesome. You've got to do your own research and take accountability, because if your business succeeds or fails, guess what? It's down to you. You can't just blame the increase in car parking charges for the reason your shop went under. It's not on. You can't take the praise when business is good and not take the bad news when times are tough, because it is down to us. I mean, which we like. I like that pressure. You know, my comfort zone is a very dangerous place because I can get complacent. So I know I've always got to keep myself on my toes. And to be honest, you know, Corona does that pretty well.
Yeah. The last 12 months hasn't been too difficult.
Yeah, and some business owners, they don't like that, and there can be, obviously, the pressure of marketing is, okay, well, this is what I've spent. What's my return? And there's lots of owning a business that puts that pressure on you, and there are some people out there might realize actually it's not for them. And if they're getting pressured because they're there having to do their own marketing, having to do their own books, having to do this, then again, that's where things like outsourcing can work well, or biting the bullet and taking on board your first employee. Generally speaking, I'd say the businesses that I've worked with and spoken to, if they could go back to the beginning, their first employee would have been a sort of admin type role. Whereas a lot of people, they like to try and outsource their sales and marketing straight away. It's like, no, get that admin person in, because you add up all those little tasks, all those little things that take your eye off the big picture. Get someone to do that can be a godsend.
Yeah, hugely. So, how do you know when it's time to make a change? You know, we've met businesses, we work with businesses that have been very successful with their marketing in the past, but then things have dried up.
Yeah, so sometimes that can be these external factors influencing your business. It could be, you know, sometimes it's like you've had the cream of the crop for a while, and then suddenly a competitor, the Philistine, opens up round the corner, aggressively starts marketing, and oh my god, I need to up my game quick. Right, let's Google marketing agencies and then call 3 of them, and we do see that a lot. But if I'd say to business owners, most of them, they are doing some kind of marketing, you know, usually in-house, or maybe they use a couple of freelancers. But when they sort of sit down at the coal line today, they don't sort of really know what effect it's having. And to be honest, if business is good and you're raking it in, probably not that much to worry about. But if it's, well, I'd like to have a better handle on where my money could be better spent, because whether it's £1 or £100, it's still your money. And it could be a case of someone is literally reaching into your wallet and taking money from you.
Yeah.
So it turns out that I get a 50-fold return from Facebook ads, where I only get a 5-fold return from LinkedIn ads. Then let's stop doing LinkedIn ads. Let's give that budget to Facebook. And that's where it becomes sort of, for a lot of people, a real turn off. Oh my God, I've got to look at numbers and spreadsheets. No, you can't have paralysis by analysis. If you're there stuck in spreadsheets all day and think that's productive work, no. Know your fundamental numbers and what could you do to move yourself closer to those numbers. Well, you know, make the boat go fast. That's usually what we say. And so know your key metrics. And that's where it comes down to testing and measuring. That, to be honest, most business owners, they've got better things to do, and they'll use someone like us.
Well, absolutely, yeah. It's kind of that prioritizing what you want from life, and I respect that at some point all businesses have to know how to do some marketing themselves. But when you want to take that leap and, go from maybe a micro business to a small business, or a small business to a medium business, you either need to speak to external experts or do a lot of learning. And I know which one I'd rather do.
Yeah. And it's like I say, I mean, back in the old days, it was almost simple. Take out a full page out of the yellow page. It's brilliant. That's on marketing number 12 months now. But now, when, like you mentioned earlier, you've got Facebook, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Twitbook, you've got Google ads, you've got Facebook ads, you've got Pinterest, newspapers, magazines, e-magazine. Oh God, you get bombarded. You don't know where to go. And some people, they really do just try everything. Remember that stage where people's business cards would have like 50 different logos on?
Oh yeah.
Because they'd be everywhere. And still we get asked that a lot now, don't we? Which social media channel should I be on? It's like, well, how long's a piece of string? But I'll tell you something for sure. Better to do 2 well than to do 5 so-so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good indicator of when it's time to change things up. When it feels like you stretch too thin and you can't really assign your results to any of your activities.
And also manual. Now you're obviously big proponents of this. It's like, if all of your marketing is manual, you definitely need to reevaluate things. It will always start with people. You need people in that creativity to have the ideas and the strategy. But if then the implementation is all done manually, you're missing a trick, massive trick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's scary or impressive how much of our stuff's automated, but I think people would be surprised how much witchcraft and wizardry we've got going on under the bonnet to make things happen.
Yeah, if you've got people joining a list and you're then having to type that list out into another spreadsheet to do something else with it, I mean, all those kind of things, it's just not productive. It's not.
We just had a conversation before the podcast about if someone inquires to speak to us, what automations are in place to make sure that they're well notified, they're on that call, that they're reminded about that call, that they receive a video in the build up to that call to know what to expect. All these things that maybe appear quite manual processes, but actually we've got the systems in place to deal with it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like we deal with Amazon. You get something's claimed to be delivered, but it isn't, and you just go on and speak to someone on live chat, but it's a bot, but literally just answers all your questions. Done. We'll send a replacement out tomorrow. Is that okay? And it's like, oh my God, it's just amazing. And that kind of technology is being made more and more available to small to medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
And like with any sort of new thing, it's a lot of hard work to get your head around how it works at the beginning. But once you've done that hard work, once you overcome that hurdle,
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. But it's just obviously that barrier to entry at the beginning. That's something else that maybe it puts it into the famous must do tomorrow pile. But yeah, I think that's a good indication. But I think you said about when's a good time to look at it. I mean, we always operate with the. I mean, maybe it doesn't sound that healthy when I say it on a podcast, but like the most aggressive competitor is going to open up round the corner from us tomorrow. That's how I look at my business, because so many people rest on their laurels, but there are recessions about to hit, or a pandemic's about to hit, or a super aggressive competitor's about to hit. They're all going to cause you trouble. And if your marketing engine is stone cold because you literally haven't turned it on for months, it's going to cost you a lot of money to get it up running really quickly.
Yeah.
Compared to if you've always got it ticking over. And we saw that in the last recession.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You see it on a micro level every year. People, a business opens up around the corner and they don't know how to react. And it's like, well, because you haven't built any brand loyalty, you haven't been marketing yourselves continuously. I mean, restaurants again fall into that category, because as soon as someone has a good idea with a restaurant, someone else copies it within months.
And that's a massive word that we haven't discussed. Loyalty. It's so much loyalty it's just not even real. I've got loyal customers. It doesn't matter. So a competitor opens up around the corner. Pete's been coming to my garage to get his car fixed for 10 years. if you haven't been doing anything to stay in touch with Pete and to remind Pete that he's made a wise choice coming to you,
Yeah.
the garage opens up round the corner and maybe can do a service a little bit quicker. Maybe it can do it a little bit cheaper. It won't take much of a change to Pete's circumstances to make him try the other competitor once.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And we do, and loyalty, word of mouth to sort of bring it full circle. It's all wonderful, it's all great, but it's also out of your hands. And the more control you can have over your own livelihood, the better. Because it would be lovely if everyone went out there and told all their friends how great you are and they magically walked into your business. Or if you had a customer, you got him or her on board and they magically gave you their money forever and they wouldn't even consider going anywhere else. But to be honest, you need a healthy dose of skepticism, and that will protect you pretty well, because at some point the shit will hit the fan, unfortunately, and your marketing, if it's done correctly, can give you an added layer of protection.
Hugely. Do people feel part of your community, and do you regularly remind them that they're part of your community? That's a really important element of marketing, and it's not the same as loyalty. Feeling part of a club isn't the same as being loyal to something.
I'm getting rid of my car in November. The 3 years is coming to an end, and the main reason I'm getting rid of it is because I never hear off them until it comes to renewal time. Literally, not even an email, not a text, not how are you, Mr. Rao or Andy. To be honest, I'm not too formal. Nothing. Not, and it's like, oh my god. So I know when I will hear off them. I'll hear off them in October. Oh, Mr. Rao. Oh, time for a new car next month. Oh, we got some exciting. No, not interested.
I get sent a monthly magazine from my car people.
Have you?
Yeah, not the people that sold me the car, but the brand itself send a monthly magazine. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't get any of that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's. I don't know why, because it doesn't even cost money to send. We send our printed newsletter out. It costs us money, but we consider it valuable because no one else does it. All you get through your post are like frozen food leaflets and bills. So it's something we do that our competitors don't, because we like to be different and there's less competition. So that's brilliant. But sending emails costs nothing. So why a big firm especially can't send an email every month or every fortnight just to let you know what's going on, or maybe new features and new models, anything like that, just to remind, hey, we're still here, we still love you. And when you do need a new car, or maybe a friend of yours says, oh yeah, what do you think about your car? Who are the people who sold your car? They're any good? Oh yeah, they're nice. Oh yeah, feel part of a tribe, blah blah blah. Rather than saying, well, I love the car, but yeah, never hear off these buggers for once every 3 years.
Yeah, it's easy as well. What such a lapse for something that's so easy to achieve.
So why is that then? If something doesn't cost and it's easy, why wouldn't a business do it? Because we're not talking rocket science. We're talking about sending an email.
I would say, without naming names, I bet the salespeople at that brand are meant to do it, but the culture isn't ingrained in the team to do it.
So, and there's obviously no process or scorecard in place to say, right, Smithy, have you called all your customers this month?
Yeah, exactly. How many people have you checked in with? How many people have you booked new appointments with? How many people have you upsold new car mats to, or whatever it might be? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange because email. Mark Zuckerberg said that over a decade ago, email is dead, and business to consumer, consumer to consumer. So amongst friends, it probably is. Those days of sending round robin emails around the office are long gone. But in terms of being able to reach your customers and potential customers, email, when done correctly, is it's fantastic.
Yeah.
5 people unsubscribed. Who cares? Again, they've done you a favor. That's five fewer people you have to worry about. They weren't going to buy off you. Let's focus on these other people.
Absolutely. So how would you summarize everything we've said today?
Oh, well, so I've been making some notes, believe it or not. So I'd say the five mistakes that we see are most prevalent, and to be honest, easy to fix, are you're not doing any marketing because you're just solely relying on the word of mouth fairy. doing only ad hoc marketing, there's no long-term strategy in place. So there's nothing in place that will protect you as well as promote you. The worst number in marketing is one, you're not capturing data to either retarget via Facebook ads or Google display ads, or you're not sending emails out to your database. Because especially getting emails, that puts you in control.
Yeah.
As big a fan as I am as Facebook, for example, Mark Zuckerberg's got the control. And if he decides to change his algorithm to stop your content reaching people or to make your ads 50% less effective, there's no point crying and whining about it. There's nothing you can do about it. So emails puts you in control. I think the fourth point, not measuring, that not everything will work, but if you're investing your learning or in the right agency, things will work more than they won't. So you will make a return. And the fifth thing that maybe underpins it all is not letting go of all the other stuff you have to deal with as a business owner, to focus on what will make the till ring. When you've been sat there immersed in spreadsheets all day or firefighting, and suddenly it's 5 o'clock. Oh my goodness, I haven't done anything to make the till ring today. Well, okay, make the till ring tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes.
Yeah.
What about you? What's the easiest thing to fix out of all that lot?
Consistency, I think. If you say, right, every day now I'm going to dedicate an hour to the promotion of my business, and that might be an hour talking to an agency, it might be an hour doing LinkedIn networking really well, it might be an hour attending breakfast networking if that's what makes your business go, whatever it might be. If you consistently do something for a 9 to 12 month period and then measure it, you'll know exactly how to improve it. And there's so few businesses that do that. But, we've mentioned it 100 times on this podcast, but I tried an advert in that magazine and it didn't work, or I went to that networking club and nobody spoke to me. And then I guess the other tip I have, can you believe this? Doorbells, phone calls, it's unbelievable.
Is that your mum again?
My phone's on silent. I don't even know why it rang. The other thing I think is, how much do you give? Something that people forget with their marketing and their businesses is normally the best way to attract someone to you or disarm them is to give something away. So that might be printed newsletter, it might be a podcast, it might be a blog, or it might be more basic than that. It could be go into a networking group, and just strategically choosing 2 or 3 businesses to buy from to show that you're committed to that environment.
Give us gain, as BNI says.
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder why. I mean, it's funny because the amount of business owners I've met who literally have turned up to one breakfast meeting, didn't get any business, and never went again. Sort of missed the whole point. Like you say, consistency. That is, give it a year. You've got to turn up every week, every fortnight, whatever it is. Let's say join or don't, do or do not, as the famous Yoda said. Great mark to that bloke. And I think so people just don't. They start up a YouTube channel, they get bored a couple of months later. They start a podcast, they record a dozen episodes. Oh, didn't get any business, and they switch off. There's an employee who loves a bit of Facebook because he's got loads of Facebook friends. So he's going to take over the work social media, and then actually a bit bored of that now. And to be honest, I'm not actually getting paid more to do the company's Facebook. So and before you know it, there's all one post a week going out, and consistency is hard. And like I say, something we did in our business quite some time ago now was make accessibility to us and certain members of our team a bit more restricted, so we can work uninterrupted. If we're working on an important project for a client, we can't afford to have phones ringing and doors knocking and mobiles beeping. It's like, no, I'm working undivided on this piece of work for our client because they're paying us money. So I can't. I've got to have that uninterrupted dedication, and that could be applied to, like you say, most marketing. If you can lock yourself away for an hour, turn your phone off, turn your email off. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised what a difference that would make.
Absolutely. So, someone wants to talk to you or me about not making mistakes with their marketing. What do they need to do?
Yeah, it's simple. Visit codebreak.co.uk and you'll see lots of options to apply for a discovery call. So fill out the form, and if you're successful in applying, you'll get a free chat with either myself or you, of course, Joel, where we'll find out what the challenges are in your business, what's keeping you up at night, whether that's a competitor not making enough sales, no one can find your website for love nor money. We'll get to the root of what's troubling you, and if we think we're a good fit for each other, we'll take it to the next stage and start thrashing out strategies and prices.
Nice. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I'd almost have it written down. I promise you I don't.
You got a final thought?
Oh, I'm trying to think of something that would top that consistency, but it really is. But I think that Yoda one, do or do not, there is no try. That applies to so many things. But you're running your own business. It's your livelihood. It's looking after you, your partner, your children. You can't afford to dabble at it. So either you invest that time and do it yourself properly, or you pay an employee to do it properly, or you pay an agency to do it properly. Yeah, just you haven't got any time to dabble. It's tough out there. So again, do or do not.
You heard it here first, or second if you've seen Star Wars. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you again.